after that, the insurance company will step in. So there's basically no penalty at all for calling in sick. Plus, it has also now become even easier. In the old days, or before the COVID-19 pandemic, you had to actually go and see a doctor. And the doctor had to certify that you are too sick to work. Now, at least for the first 5 days, you call your doctor, he'll give you the sick leave, or he'll transfer the data to the insurance company, and you can stay home.
And how different is that from anywhere else?
It's very different from most European countries. Some are a little less generous, others are far less generous. Amongst the far less generous ones is actually Britain. In Britain, you don't get any pay for the first 3 days, and then you get something like 100 quid a week, which is a fraction of the average salary. So it's a real penalty that is imposed on somebody who calls in sick.
So how much of a toll is this all taking on the German economy?
Well, there's a study by the DIW, it's an Institute of Economic Research, that shows the cost to employers. It's something like 70 to 80 billion euros a year. And there's another study that shows that the cost has almost doubled nominally between 2010 and 2023. In real terms, it has increased 57%. It's inflation and a bigger workforce, but it's also related to more people simply calling in sick than used to be the case in the past.
So are there countries that could be role models here?
Well, as with many public policies, people look to Scandinavia and to Sweden in particular. So in Sweden, workers get 80% of their salary when they're on sick leave. So that's not full pay, but still much more than they would get, say, in Britain. Plus, the Swedes have come up with a very interesting model of part-time sick leave. So you can ask your doctor to certify that you are able to work 25% or 50% or 75%, which I think helps many people who are not quite able to work full-time, but can still contribute. So that's working out really well in Sweden, and I think other countries look to Sweden as a role model in that sense.
And are there any solutions being discussed in Germany?
Once people are used to getting full pay for 6 weeks, it's quite hard to say, well, it's not the case anymore. So it's a hotly debated topic. But the CEO of Allianz, that's Europe's biggest insurance company, proposed the introduction of a waiting day. So on the first day, employees would get no pay, and then after that, the pay would kick in. But opponents argue that's not a good idea because it would encourage people who are actually really ill to go to work. And then, of course, first of all, they're not very productive because they're ill, and then it's possibly contagious, whatever they have, and then other members of the workforce would fall ill. So they think it could be counterproductive. Policymakers have the hardest task because they have to find the right balance of protecting workers who are really ill and who should stay home and should get paid properly, but not encouraging workers to stay home just because they don't feel like going to work. And it's a very hard balance to get right.
Fascinating stuff. Wendelin, thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you for having me on the show.
That's all for this episode of The Intelligence. We'll see you back here tomorrow.